Well, I am very happy to be speaking with you again. And the subject of mentoring people, discipling people, carrying them on as far as the Lord would have them to go. I'm always excited to talk about that. And I'd like to teach you that, well, I don't want to teach you, I just want to share with you. I don't really feel like I'm in a position to teach you, but I can share with you some things that I've learned over the years that I think might be of value to you. We want to teach everybody we're working with character from the very beginning. So that's not something you can teach didactically. You can't teach that like a teacher talking to a student. That's more like a father to a son. It's more like a person who has very much got a personal interest in the person. It's life on life mentorship. It's living together in such a way that you know what how they handle money. You know they're lying if they lie, and you call their hand at it and teach them not to lie. And that's a hard thing to do, but I would challenge you to do that. And I'd just like to say to you up front, there's some things that I really believe you have to consider if you're going to be a real mentor. If you're really going to carry men on to be all that they should be, you must remember that people are not disposable. We don't throw away anybody. No one gets thrown away. If they leave, it'll be because they walked away from our training, from our discipline. They walked away. Man, I have always kept the door open for them when they would come back. And so I would challenge you to know that people aren't disposable. No deposit, no return kind of people. When I was younger, and I know it's not the way it is nowadays, but back in the old days, Coca-Cola bottles, you paid money down. So you'd buy your drink and then you'd pay a deposit on the bottle. And so then what they would say is, when you bring the bottle back, we'll give you your money back. And so you would pay maybe a dime for the drink. And I know that's a joke, right? And a nickel for the bottle, or 3 cents for the bottle. And so then your Coke ended up being 13 cents or 15 cents. And what people did all the time was, if you were going to buy a 6-pack of Cokes, you brought in a 6-pack of empties, you handed them in and took a 6-pack more, and you didn't pay any of the extra fee. People threw those away all the time. I'd drive down the road, and the fact is, when I was having financial trouble or whatever, as a teenager or kid, I could go down the road and pick up all the empties. You'd pick up 100 empties, and 100 empties times 3 cents is $3. And $3 was, well, it's more than I made. It's about what I make in 3 hours back then. And so there was a deposit. And then later on, they came out with this new drink called no deposit, no return. You can take this bottle and we don't care what you do with it. No deposit, no return. That was convenient. But it's not convenient with people. It's not convenient with people. People are not something you get to throw away. You know, one of the beautiful things about being born into a family is you're kind of stuck with them. In the good days and the bad days, when they do right, when they do wrong, we just keep loving them. We deal with them. We do whatever it takes to get things straightened out. And honestly, that ought to be the opinion that we ought to have about the people we're training for being in the ministry. It ought not be like, well, he's got too many problems, I'm not dealing with him. It ought to be, I'm here to help him. We need to challenge them. They need to know that we really believe that God has big plans for them and God can do big stuff with them. We need to know that we need them to know we expect that. You realize that most people almost never hear good, sweet, positive comments about themselves. Most of us grew up with all sorts of lies being told to us. We were no good. It was always our fault. We always failed. No one could expect better from us. And that's what kids grew up with. So when you start discipling them, they're looking for somebody who would just love them. Someone who would just really care about them and the situation that they're in. So I want to ask you to challenge them, and I want to ask you to expect great things from them. I want to just remind you of this. Remember that you get what you look for. You get what you expect. and you get what you honor. And I'll talk to you about that in more depth in the next episode as we talk about mentoring. But I want to challenge you to be very careful. Be very careful to love people. Be very careful to invest your life in them. Be very careful to treat them like real people and people that aren't disposable. I believe God will bless you for that. Thank you very much.